This video is for those who have played through The Last of Us and whose enjoyment of the game will not be spoiled by a discussion of the ending. Spoiler alert. In the final scene, Joel pulls Ellie up over yet another obstacle in their wandering journey. When she clambers to the top, she wears a pensive expression on her face and asks Joel to stop for a minute. At this point, it is well established that they are nearly family to each other. Joel, a tough nut if there ever was one, has called her "my baby girl" in a moment of fatherly passion. Ellie is ready to reveal more as well. She tells Joel about a friend she lost before she met him, probably her only friend in this hellish world. She then asks Joel to understand why she's describing the loss of this friend, and tells him to promise her that everything he said about the fireflies is true. In fact, the player knows that he has lied to her, the essential hopelessness of his lie, that there is no cure, there will never be a cure, that the fireflies have already tried many times and failed, only deepens the lie and makes it more of a betrayal. It has the potential to affect Ellie's whole worldview, with the object of keeping her alive and close to him. It sets his relationship with Ellie on a foundation of falsehood and reveals a bleak desperation at Joel's core. But whether Ellie believes Joel's lie is an open question, and the ultimate question in this brilliant, ambiguous closing scene. Here's what I think. Ellie is a smart whip, too savvy and too well acquainted with her protector's outlook to believe him entirely. For him, survival is the highest virtue, and his hidebound doggedness clashes with Ellie's brightness and humanity. When Joel swears to the truth of his account of the fireflies, Ellie simply nods and says, "Okay." But it's apparent in the expression on her innocent, luminous face that there's much more going on inside of her than her monosyllabic reply suggests. This is where the full nuance of Naughty Dog's animation comes into play, because it's extremely tough to say what Ellie's facial expression means before we cut to credits. Taking a stab at it, I'd say her expression is a combination of sorrow, pity, and love. I think she feels sorrow in this moment, because part of her knows that Joel is lying to her, and even if that awareness is lurking somewhere on the outskirts of her mind, she feels wounded by it. Gazing at him, she feels pity because it's suddenly apparent to her that Joel is a smaller man than she thought. He has a profound need for her. She's the only thing in the entire world that humanizes him, and without her, his heart would have never had the chance to open up again. It's not hard to see how this attachment has grown. She hunted food for him when he was severely wounded and risked her life to bring him medicine. No one else has cared for him so devotedly in this harsh, cutthroat world. It seems that she has preserved both his spirit and his body. He needs her so desperately that he has killed and killed to rescue her, and now he lies to keep her. Finally, there's a kind of wide-eyed trust in her eyes, which doesn't make sense until you consider that she loves Joel dearly. In fact, she seems to love him much earlier in the story, well before he learned to return her affection. The trust in her eyes is what makes her expression so heartbreaking. She's not taken in. She's choosing to accept what he told her, even though she doubts it. I think she trusts that he must be lying to her for a reason, though her character is so fierce that it's hard to imagine her acceptance lasting very long. What haunts me about this ending is that it opens up a crack between Ellie and Joel, a crack that can only widen with time. No loving relationship can possibly be based on a lie. Ellie is close to womanhood, and will probably part ways with Joel after a few short years, assuming they survive that long. It does complicate matters that the fireflies were going to take Ellie's life without her consent, which is the very thing that makes her rescue from St. Mary's Hospital seem so urgent and justified. But in the moments before the end credits, Ellie suggests that she would have willingly died for the hope of curing the plague. To her, this matters even more than Joel's strength and guidance, and her goodness would have prompted her to make the sacrifice. She would have made the sacrifice to prevent others from losing friends the way she has. But Joel, in a manner some of us might be familiar with, has denied her that noble opportunity. It becomes clear, perhaps even to Ellie herself, that she is a lonely light in a world where everyone is looking out for number one. Ellie's gorgeous face is a wise, though not necessarily an obvious choice on the part of Naughty Dog. She acts and talks like a tomboy, so she might as well have looked like one, if only to fit her into the rough and tumble of post-apocalyptia. But she's not a character who is supposed to fit in. Even in a medical sense, she's an oddity. Her immunity isn't just corporeal, she also somehow remains morally pure when everyone around her has succumbed to the animality and mutual hunting that's become the norm. In case you just don't get it, look what a cherubic face she has. So the beauty of her design is motivated more by symbolism than lookism. It serves the function of setting her apart from the rest because she really is special. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about the beauty of a 14-year-old girl, because that would be weird, but Ellie's looks are no mistake, and they're not just window dressing. In conclusion, hats off to Naughty Dog and the voice talent for crafting such a thought-provoking ending. I can't imagine live actors doing a better job than this. Even if I'm seeing too much in my interpretation of what is, after all, a mere video game, I was deeply moved by this story, and no doubt other players were as well. So leave your comments and let me know what you thought of it. Thanks.